Small towns have secrets. It's something I learned early in life, long before I became a forensic pathologist. People talk, but they don't always tell the truth. They whisper behind closed doors, holding on to things that should have been brought to light years ago. I never thought I'd be the one to uncover something that should have stayed buried. It's late 2023, and I've been in Crescent Hollow, Texas for exactly 2 weeks. A town barely big enough to need a morgue. When I took this job, I expected quiet. A few cases here and there, drunk driving accidents, bar fights gone wrong, the occasional overdose. Nothing that would keep me up at night. I was wrong. The morgue is cold, the kind of cold that sinks into your bones. I pull my coat tighter around me as I move through the sterile white hallway, my footsteps echoing. It's past midnight, and I should have gone home hours ago, but paperwork kept me late. That's when I see it. A freezer door slightly ajar. I frown. We don't leave them open. The bodies are kept in climate-controlled units, each one carefully logged, each one accounted for. I step forward, fingers brushing against the metal handle. A breath of icy air seeps out, wrongly cold, like stepping into something that doesn't belong to this world. Inside, steel trays are stacked in neat rows, each one holding a body sealed in a thick plastic bag. Except one. One body isn't bagged. It lays exposed, its skin eerily untouched by time. My breath catches. The hair, the nails, even the eyes. They're intact, perfectly preserved, like the person died yesterday. But the tag tied around the wrist reads 1987. My stomach knots. That's not possible. I glance at the logbook, flipping through the handwritten entries. The name listed doesn't match any local records. No missing person report, no documentation, no reason for this body to be here. I reach for my phone, my fingers numb from the cold. I need to call someone, ask questions, report this. But before I can dial, something makes me stop. A sound. A soft creak from the hallway. I turn, my pulse spiking. The morgue is supposed to be empty. I was the last one here. But I'm not alone. A shadow lingers just beyond the doorway, still and watching. I can't see who it is, but I can feel them. The air shifts, the silence stretching too long. Then, the lights flicker. And in that split second of darkness, the freezer door slams, shut. I stumble back, my breath coming too fast. My hands shake as I push against the door, but it won't budge. Someone locked it. I bang against the steel. Hello? My voice comes out thin, swallowed by the cold. Is someone there? No answer. Just silence. And the frozen corpse lying beside me, its unseeing eyes staring back. The cold wraps around me like a second skin, creeping into my bones, numbing my fingers. My breath comes out in short, white puffs. I bang on the freezer door again, harder this time, the sound echoing in the small enclosed space. Hello? My voice cracks. Is someone out there? Nothing. I turn, my pulse pounding, my eyes locking onto the body beside me. Perfectly preserved. Too perfect. The skin is smooth, untouched by decay. The hair is neatly combed, not a single strand missing. The fingernails, they look freshly trimmed. This person has been in here for 36 years. My mind races, searching for an explanation. Some kind of advanced embalming technique? No, even the best preservation methods can't keep a body looking like this for decades. The morgue logs said this body was checked in years ago, but the name didn't match any missing persons reports. Who brought them here? Why were they hidden? A loud thud from the hallway jerks me out of my thoughts. I freeze, my breath catching in my throat. Someone is still out there. Whoever locked me in. I press my ear to the door, straining to listen. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. Whoever it is, they're not in a hurry. They're waiting. A shiver, not from the cold, crawls up my spine. They don't want me to get out. I force my shaking hands to reach for my pocket. My phone. I can call for help. But when I pull it out, my stomach drops. No signal. The freezer is a sealed unit, thick walls, no windows, a dead zone. I close my eyes, trying to steady my breathing. Think. There has to be another way out. I scan the space, my gaze landing on the ventilation system near the ceiling. The grate is small, but if I can pry it open, I might be able to push my phone through and get a signal. I grab the nearest thing I can use, a metal tray from one of the shelves, and jam it against the vent cover. The steel groans, bending slightly, but it's not enough. I need something stronger. I glance back at the body. My stomach twists. Number. But what choice do I have? I hesitate only for a second before reaching down, my hands trembling as I grip the frozen wrist. The fingers are stiff, ice cold, but the bones are still intact. I close my eyes and snap the arm at the elbow. The crack is deafening in the silence. I don't let myself think about what I just did. I grip the broken bone, using it like a crowbar, wedging it into the vent. I push, harder and harder, until the grate pops off. I shove my phone through the opening, holding my breath. 1 bar, then 2. Service. I dial the sheriff's office with frozen fingers. The ringing feels endless. Then, a click. A voice. Doctor, Hale? I nearly sob. Sheriff, I'm trapped in the morgue freezer. Someone locked me in. I need... A pause. Then, in a voice, too calm, too knowing, you were never supposed to find that body. The line goes dead. The line goes dead and the cold suddenly feels suffocating. My fingers tighten around my phone as I stare at the screen. Call failed. Number. No. I try again. The call doesn't go through. The sheriff's voice, steady, almost casual, echoes in my head. You were never supposed to find that body. My breath comes in fast, shallow gasps. This wasn't just an accident. Someone didn't just make a mistake and lock me in here. They meant to. I turn back to the vent, pushing my phone further into the opening, hoping for a better signal. I hold it there, waiting, watching the screen, willing a connection to come back. Nothing. A noise outside makes me flinch. Footsteps, slow, unhurried. Someone is still out there. Listening. I press my back against the steel wall, heart hammering in my chest. If I scream, will they help me? Or will they just stand there waiting for the cold to do its job? I grip the broken bone in my other hand like a weapon. It's sharp, jagged where it snapped. Useless against a locked door, but if they come inside, I won't go down without a fight. The footsteps stop right outside the freezer. Silence. I squeeze my eyes shut, bracing myself. Then, the lock clicks. My body goes rigid. The door doesn't open, but the lock was definitely turned. Are they letting me out? Are they making sure I can't escape? I don't wait to find out. I lunge for the handle and yank it open. The hallway is empty. The fluorescent lights flicker, humming softly. The air outside is warm compared to the freezer, but I can't stop shaking. I step out, gripping the broken bone tight, scanning the corridor. No movement. But someone was here. A faint dragging sound comes from further down the hall. I turn toward it, my pulse hammering. The sound is rhythmic, slow, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. I should run. I should get out of here. But my feet move forward instead. The sound leads me toward the main storage area, where bodies waiting for autopsy are kept. The heavy metal doors are slightly ajar. The room beyond is dark. I push them open and freeze. One of the body trays is open. The plastic bag that should be sealed is empty. I take a slow step back, my stomach twisting. Did someone move the body? Or the door slams shut behind me. I whirl around, but I already know. I'm locked in. A whisper drifts from the darkness, so close I swear I feel breath against my neck. You should have left it alone, Doctor. Hale. The lights go out. The lights die, swallowing the room in thick, impenetrable black. My breath stops. The silence is so complete I can hear my own pulse hammering in my ears. I press my back against the cold metal of the storage cabinets, my grip tightening around the jagged piece of bone still clutched in my fingers. I'm not alone. The whisper, so close, too close, still lingers in the air. My skin crawls. I want to believe I imagined it. That fear is making me hear things. But I know better. Someone is here. I force my breathing to slow, straining my ears. The room is filled with bodies waiting for autopsy, but one shouldn't be missing. The body from the freezer, the one that shouldn't exist, was on that tray. Now it's gone. A soft sound scrapes across the floor. A footstep. Panic flares hot in my chest. I can't see them, but they can see me. I take a slow step sideways, feeling my way along the storage cabinets. My fingers brush cold metal, my heart slamming against my ribs. If I can just make it to the door. Another step. Closer this time. I squeeze the broken bone tighter. I don't want to use it, but I will. A voice, low, almost amused, drifts through the dark. You shouldn't be here, Doctor. Hail. My blood turns to ice. It's not a voice I recognize. Not a coworker. Not the sheriff. Someone else. Someone who has been waiting. My voice barely works. Who are you? Silence. Then a faint chuckle. You already know. The air shifts, and before I can react, something brushes against my arm. I swing the bone blindly, a wild, desperate arc. It collides with nothing. I stagger back, heart pounding. I can't stay here. I move fast, feeling my way along the cabinets, fingers scraping against cold steel. The door is only feet away. If I can just... My ankle catches on something. I crash to the floor, landing hard, pain jolting through my knees and elbows. My hands slap against something wet. My stomach clenches as I realize it's blood. The metallic scent is strong, thick in the stale air. And it's fresh. I scramble backward, my hands shaking. I can't see it, but I know what's in front of me. The missing body. Except it's not dead anymore. A sharp click echoes through the room. A flashlight beam flares to life, blinding me. I lift a hand to shield my eyes, my breath ragged, and then I see him. A man stands over me, his face cast in shadows. He's dressed in our lab coat, but it's not one of ours. His features are wrong, his skin too smooth, his hair too neat. But his eyes are open. He was the body in the freezer. He was supposed to be dead, and now, he's smiling. The flashlight's glare stabs into my eyes, making it impossible to see his face clearly. But I don't need to. I already know what I'm looking at. The missing body. The man from the freezer. The one who was perfectly preserved, despite being tagged from a 1987. The one who should be lying cold and lifeless on a metal slab. Instead, he's standing over me, smiling. My stomach lurches. My hands are still slick with blood. His blood. The coppery scent fills my nose, thick and fresh. He's been bleeding, but he's not dead. I push myself backward, my heels scraping against the tile. My heart slams against my ribs, my breath coming too fast, too shallow. No, I whisper. This isn't possible. The man tilts his head, watching me like I'm the strange one. His expression is almost curious, like he's waiting to see what I'll do next. I grip the broken bone tighter, my knuckles white. Who are you? My voice shakes. For a moment, he doesn't answer. Then, he crouches down, just enough that I can see the sharp angles of his face. His skin is smooth, unblemished, too perfect for someone who's supposed to be decades old. You already know, he says, his voice soft. Calm. I shake my head. You were dead. A small chuckle escapes him. Was I? The flashlight shifts slightly, casting more light around the room. My gaze flicks down, and my stomach turns to ice. Because he's not the only one here. Bodies. Lined up against the far wall, propped upright, like dolls on display. They're dressed in morgue uniforms, old ones yellowed with age. Their faces are pale, slack, dead. But their eyes are open, watching me. I choke on my own breath, scrambling to my feet. The man doesn't move, just tilts his head, amused by my panic. "You're not supposed to be here, Dr. Hale," he says again. I back toward the door, fingers fumbling for the handle. It won't turn. Locked. I slam my fist against the door. "Let me out." He sighs, almost disappointed. "You don't understand yet." Understand what? My voice cracks. He steps closer. Too close. I can see his pupils now, too wide, too dark, like there's nothing behind them. "You think you found a body that wasn't meant to be found," he murmurs. "But what if the body found you?" The room tilts. My pulse pounds in my ears. My skin feels too tight, because something about his voice, it's familiar. Like I've heard it before, like he's been waiting for me. And then, just as my vision starts to blur, just as the cold inside me starts to spread, everything goes black. Cold. That's the first thing I feel when I come back. A deep, aching cold seeping into my bones. My head is pounding. My limbs are sluggish. My thoughts tangled in fog. I try to move. I can't. Panic jolts through me, sharp and electric. My hands are pinned. My legs won't respond. My breath comes fast and shallow as my mind catches up to the situation. Something is restraining me. I force my eyes open. Darkness. Thick, heavy blackness surrounds me. No flickering morgue lights. No soft hum of electricity. Just silence. The kind of silence that presses against your skull. That makes you feel like you're buried alive. My breath hitches. No, I'm not buried. I can still feel air moving around me. But it's stale, cold, too still. I strain against whatever's holding me down. Straps. Thick, tight ones wrapped around my wrists and chest. The sensation sends a fresh wave of terror through me. Morgue restraints. The kind we use for autopsies. I twist, struggling against them, and something clangs beside me. Metal. A tray? A table? I must still be inside the morgue. A voice cuts through the dark. "You shouldn't fight it." I go still. The man. The corpse. That shouldn't be alive. His voice is soft, eerily calm, floating toward me from somewhere nearby. I can't see him, but I can feel him. Watching, waiting. "What?" My throat is raw, my voice barely above a whisper. "What do you want?" A pause. Then, "To show you." A flicker of movement in the dark. A rustling sound like fabric brushing against metal. Then, the lights snap on. Blinding white floods the room. I squeeze my eyes shut for a second before forcing them open. I'm strapped to an autopsy table, my own workspace. The cold metal beneath me burns against my skin, even through my clothes. I yank at the restraints, but they don't budge. And then I see him, standing across the room, arms folded neatly behind his back, still wearing that same pristine lab coat like he belongs here. His skin is too perfect. His eyes are too calm. "You don't belong here," I manage, my voice stronger now, fueled by panic and fury. "You're supposed to be dead." He tilts his head slightly like a bird studying its prey. "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." He steps closer. I try not to flinch. "You're thinking about it the wrong way," he murmurs. "Maybe I never died, or maybe..." He trails off, eyes locking onto mine. "Maybe death isn't what you think it is." A shudder ripples through me, because deep down, beneath the fear, a thought claws its way into my mind. What if he's right? I yank at the restraints again, harder this time, but they hold firm. The thick leather digs into my wrists, biting against my skin. The man watches, his expression unreadable, like he's waiting for me to understand something. "You need to let me go," I say, keeping my voice steady despite the panic clawing at my ribs. "You don't want to do this." He smiles, like this is a conversation over coffee, not a nightmare in a morgue basement. "You still think I'm the threat here?" I glare at him. "You locked me to a table." He ignores that, stepping closer, his movements eerily controlled. "I know you have questions, Doctor. Hale, you're a scientist, a woman of logic." He gestures toward me, his fingers too still, too smooth. "But logic won't help you here." "You were in the freezer," I snap. "You were dead. That's not an opinion. That's not something I imagined. You were supposed to be a body." He leans forward slightly. And yet, here I am. A chill creeps up my spine. He's too calm, too certain. My mind races, grasping for an explanation, but nothing makes sense. I try a different approach. "Who are you?" His smile fades slightly. "I used to be a doctor, like you. A pathologist, actually." His eyes gleam. Funny, isn't it? The way things circle back. I go still. "A pathologist?" I search his face, my breath catching as a terrible thought forms. The freezer tag. The year. 1987. I think about the perfectly preserved body, the one with no records, the one hidden in the morgue for decades. I force the words out. "You worked here, didn't you?" He nods slowly. 36 years ago. My stomach knots. That's impossible. Is it? He tilts his head. And yet, here I am. I shake my head, my pulse hammering. That doesn't make sense. If you worked here in 1987, you'd be dead? He finishes for me. His smile widens. Yes, that's what they told everyone. The air in the room turns thick, heavy. The walls feel closer. I swallow hard. Who covered it up? His expression flickers, something darker beneath the surface. You're asking the wrong question, Doctor. Hale. My skin prickles. Then what's the right one? His gaze locks onto mine. Why did they keep me? The lights flicker. For a second, just a fraction of a second, the shadows in the room shift. And I swear, I see something move behind him. Something else. I squeeze my eyes shut, then open them again. The room is still. The man is still standing there. But now his smile is gone. And his eyes don't look human anymore. My breath comes in short, shallow gasps. The room feels smaller, the air thick and heavy. I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. The man, or whatever he is, tilts his head slightly, his unblinking gaze locked onto mine. His eyes aren't just cold. They're wrong. Like something behind them is watching, calculating. You're afraid, he says. I don't answer. You should be, he adds, almost as an afterthought. I yank at the restraints again, panic rising in my throat. If you're not going to kill me, then let me go. He exhales slowly, almost like he's disappointed. I told you you're asking the wrong questions. My voice shakes. Then tell me the right ones. He leans closer. I can feel the unnatural stillness in his body, the way he moves too smoothly, too controlled. You should be asking why they put me here. A shiver runs through me. The word lingers in the cold air. I force myself to think past the fear, past the impossible. He was logged as a body from 1987, hidden in the morgue for decades. But someone had to keep him there. Someone knew. Who? I whisper. His expression darkens. The ones who never left. The lights overhead flicker again, longer this time. The hum of electricity stutters. The shadows in the room stretch, moving in ways that don't make sense. My stomach twists. We're not alone. The air shifts behind me. A whisper of movement. Too close. I turn my head just slightly and see them. Bodies, standing, lined up against the far wall. My pulse slams into my ribs. I know these bodies. I've examined them. They were on my tables just days ago, but now they stand upright, still in their morgue sheets, their heads tilted, their glassy, lifeless eyes open and watching. I squeeze my eyes shut, my mind screaming at me that this isn't possible, that I'm hallucinating. I open them again. The bodies are still there, and they've moved closer. A soft breath escapes me, shaking. My fingers curl into fists against the restraints. What? My voice is barely audible. What are they? The man, the thing, watches me carefully. The ones they never let go. The fluorescent light flickers violently, casting the room into flashes of brightness and shadow. The bodies shift again, their faces almost recognizable now. I know these people. Not just from the morgue, from town, from missing persons reports. The realization slams into me like a punch to the gut. They didn't just cover up his death, they covered up all of them. The lights stutter one last time, and then go out completely. The darkness is absolute, a thick, suffocating black that swallows everything. The air is still, too still, like the entire room is holding its breath. I can't see them anymore, but I know they're there. The bodies, the ones that were supposed to be dead, the ones who never left. I squeeze my hands into fists, my fingers ice cold against the restraints. The leather digs into my wrists as I struggle, heart hammering. The silence stretches, growing heavier, pressing against my skull. Then, a whisper. Not from him. From them. Soft. Distant. A dozen voices speaking at once, overlapping, tangled, impossible to understand. The hairs on my arms rise, my breath coming too fast. The voices aren't angry, they aren't screaming. They're pleading. I swallow hard, my throat dry. What do you want? The man who shouldn't be alive, who shouldn't exist, steps closer, his outline barely visible in the dark. His voice is calm, steady, but there's something underneath it now. Attention. They want to be remembered, he says. The whispers shift, growing sharper, louder. The air feels charged, electric. They were never buried, he continues. Never grieved, never given names, just numbers in a ledger, and now... His pale hand reaches out, tracing the air beside my face, though he doesn't touch me. Now they want you to see. The whispers rise into a low, droning hum, filling the room, seeping into my skull. My vision pulses, the darkness shifting, twisting, moving. And then, the morgue is gone. I'm somewhere else. A field, overgrown, wild. The smell of damp earth fills my nose, thick and cloying. A full moon hangs low in the sky, silver light spilling across the ground. I try to move. I can move. My arms are free. My body is mine again. But my feet won't budge, like I'm rooted in place. Ahead of me, the dirt is wrong. Freshly turned soil, mounds stretching in uneven rows, shallow graves. My stomach twists. I know what this is. The missing people, the ones whose bodies never made it to my tables, whose cases were quietly closed with no answers. A sharp snap behind me, a branch breaking, first turn. Figures stand at the tree line, dozens of them. Their faces are hollow, sunken, their bodies covered in ragged, dirt-stained clothes. Their eyes gleam, catching the moonlight. They're waiting. For me. A whisper drifts through the night, the same voice from before, threading through my skull like smoke. Find us. Then, a violent jerk. The world shatters around me. I'm back, strapped to the autopsy table. The room is cold, sterile, unchanged, except for one thing. The bodies are gone. The man leans down, his lips barely inches from my ear. You know where they are now, Doctor? Hale. His voice is almost gentle. So what are you going to do? The morgue is silent again. The bodies, the ones that shouldn't have been standing, are gone. The man who shouldn't exist is still watching me, his expression calm, waiting. My pulse pounds against my ribs. I can't shake the images burned into my mind, the field, the graves, the voices. Find us. I don't know how, but I felt them, the missing people. They weren't just names on old reports. They were real, and they had been buried like trash, forgotten by everyone. Except him. You showed me that for a reason, I say, forcing my voice to stay steady. You want me to do something. The man tilts his head slightly. I want you to make a choice. My hands are still slick with sweat as I test the restraints again. This time, they come loose. I freeze. He let me go. My fingers tremble as I pull the straps off, my skin raw where the leather dug in. My body is stiff from the cold table, but I don't hesitate. I sit up slowly, muscles coiled, ready to run. He doesn't move. I swing my legs off the table, standing on unsteady feet. The room still looks the same, sterile, clean, but everything has changed. Because I know the truth now. The sheriff knows, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. Doesn't he? A small smile plays on the man's lips. They all do. My stomach twists. The town knows, or at least the ones in power. They've known all along that the missing weren't missing, that they were buried, that this morgue, this place, was never about giving the dead peace. It was about keeping them hidden. I think of the names in the logs that didn't match any records, the disappearances that never made sense, the quiet funerals with no bodies. They killed you, I whisper, the weight of it sinking in. The man exhales, almost amused. They tried. I swallow hard. And the others? His gaze darkens. They were never meant to be found. A sharp bang echoes from the hallway. Footsteps. More than one person. Getting closer. My breath catches. I don't have to guess who it is. They're coming to clean this up. I glance at the man, panic clawing at my ribs. What do I do? His expression softens just slightly. You already know. The footsteps grow louder. I make my choice. I run. Out the morgue doors, into the night, into the truth. I don't stop. Not when I hear them shouting behind me. Not when I hear cars starting. I run toward the field, toward the graves, toward the bodies that deserve to be found. Because some secrets should have stayed buried and some should never be buried at all.